You know what one of the problems of this community is? One of the problems is you got dudes out here, at least boxing fans, that are too into fighters' pockets, right? They're too worried and concerned about what a fucking fighter is making, how much a fucking fighter is making. Oh, this guy's making that much. This guy's making that much. This guy's making this much. You know, when it really doesn't matter, because the money that this guy's making, whatever money this fighter is making, does not benefit you, does not benefit me, does not benefit anyone, right? It only benefits the fighter, right? When it comes to like Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua and all these fighters, even Luis Ortiz and all these, even Dillian White, all these dudes, even the other weight divisions, people, boxing fans love to talk about how much fighters get paid, how much this guy gets paid. You got guys making videos telling you how Wilder's dumb because he made $30 million, according to Forbes. Right? Now, I don't know about you, but if you are making $30 million, you're winning, right? These are facts. You're winning. You're winning in life. If you're making $10 million, you're winning. That's not chump change. This is the reality, right? This is the reality. If you're making $10 million, for fighters, not most fighters aren't making $1 million. Most fighters, like the guys you see on TV, most of these dudes are making like $20,000, $50,000 per fight. Most of these dudes, most of them. When you look at these dudes fighting on TV, especially like the guys on the undercard, because every time you see a fight, there's always guys on the undercard. These guys aren't making $100,000. They're making like less than $80,000. So most fighters aren't making that much money to begin with, right? So if you hear that a guy's receiving $1.2 million or $2 million paycheck per fight, that guy is winning. That guy is winning because most fighters aren't making $2 million. It's rare to see how many fighters can you sit here and say are making $30 million per fight. How many fighters? Tell me how many fighters. People act like so many fighters in this world are making like $30 million paydays per fight. As if it's normal, right? I could probably count on one hand the amount of fighters that make over a $20 million paydays per fight. Number one would be Saul Canelo Alvarez. I know when Saul Canelo Alvarez fights, he makes like 30-something million per fight. Anthony Joshua, he's another guy who makes around like $20, $30 million per fight. Does Manny Pacquiao still make that money? I don't know, because I remember when Manny Pacquiao was in his prime, he was making like $20 million a fight. I remember when Floyd Mayweather Jr. was around, he was making like $20 million a fight. But those are like the only two guys, if you really think about it. In all the weight divisions, Saul Canelo Alvarez and Anthony Joshua are literally the only two fighters who are making that type of money. Look at all the other guys. Look at Terence Crawford, a guy who was an undisputed champion in a weight division. A guy who has won belts in 3 different weight divisions. This guy's now making $30 million a fight. You never hear people say Terence Crawford is making that type of money. Terence Crawford is probably making like $5 million a fight. Probably even less, like $3 million. Guys like the Gennady Golovkin, they're now making $32 million a fight. I believe Gennady Golovkin signed to the Zone. He signed like a multi-fight deal of worth like $35 million. So he's not making $35 million for one fight. He's making $35 million for several fights, which means he's probably making like $6 to $5 million per fight, or maybe $8 million per fight. Right? Guys like Deontay Wilder makes $2 million per fight. Apparently, he made $10 million per fight. Apparently, Deontay Wilder made $10 million in his last fight against, what's his name? Dominic Brazil. If that's the case, he's winning. Because if that's the case, he's making more money, or he made more money in his last fight with Dominic Brazil than Terence Crawford made in any of his fights combined. Terence Crawford is a guy who has won who is considered a pound for pound king, a pound for pound #1 fighter in the world. This guy has won several belts. A guy I respect a lot. Yeah, I never hear Terence Crawford making $10 million paydays. Terence Crawford is a guy who makes $5 million paydays. Somebody like a Vasily Lomachenko is a guy who's also considered a pound for pound king. I never hear people saying he's making $10 million per fight. Matter of fact, last time I checked, he made like $700,000, and I think he made $700,000 when he fought what's his name, Guillermo Regan, now not too long ago. So if that's the case, when Deontay Wilder is winning. Here's the point of this video. The point of this video is this. Not every fighter is going to be making $30 million per fight. And if a fighter like Deontay Wilder is making $10 million, he's winning. He's winning because he's in that rare bracket of fighters who's making that. Even if you're a fighter who's making $2 million, you're winning in life because you're making $2 million when most fighters are making $50,000 a fight. If you're making $50,000 a fight, you can't retire from that. You can't be like, all right, I made $50,000. You can't retire from that. You're gonna have to continue to work. But when it comes to Wilder, you're gonna have to continue to fight several times. When it comes to Wilder, or any of these fighters, not just Wilder, any of these fighters who are making $1-2 million, they could literally fight once a year, and be inactive because they're making $2 million. They could support themselves with that type of money, right? These fighters are winning if they're making $2, $5, $6, $20 million. Now, I agree though. Deontay Wilder could have made more money. He could have made more money had he chose to take the Anthony Joshua fight. But he's still making money. He's still winning. So I don't understand why people are making videos and subscribers are bashing Deontay Wilder, for making not as much money as Anthony Joshua when it's rare to make that much money. Tyson Fury is not making $30 million a fight. Dillian White is not making $30 million. Dillian White has never even made $5 million. And he's a very known fighter. Tyson Fury is a very known fighter. He's never made $30 million. He's never made these, you don't see him making a bunch of money like that. So I just think that the boxing fans are way too invested in, and it's so stupid that they're way too invested in how much fighters are making. And they're going around saying that this guy ain't making shit, when in reality he's fucking winning. Because he's in one of those rare brackets of fighters. He's that are actually getting paid really good money compared to the majority of fighters. Let's just say there was like, from a scale to 1 to 10, let's just say 1 is the worst and 10 is the best. Right? The majority of fighters are under 5. The majority of fighters, they're under 5. They're in the 1s, they're in the 2s, they're in the 3s, they're in the 4s. When it comes to how much money they're getting per fight, because they're getting like 2,000, 10,000, 50,000. And then the guys who are over the 5, with the guys who are like number 6, number 7, number 8, number 9, number 10, those guys are making 500,000 per fight, 1 million per fight, right? 2 million per fight. And then you got the guys all the way in number 10, all the way up in number 10. Those dudes are making $30 million per fight. Again, if you look at all the fighters, the only guys who would be in the number 10 would be fucking 2 guys, Anthony Joshua and Saul Canelo Alvarez. Maybe you could throw Manny Pacquiao in there, because I believe he's still making $20 million per fight. Right? And then all the other guys, like a Terence Crawford, like a Deontay Wilder, like a Gennady Golovkin, all these other dudes are in the 8 to 9 bracket where they're making $2 million, $5 million a fight. Deontay Wilder is making what Danny Garcia makes, what Terence Crawford makes, what Gennady Golovkin makes. He's making the exact money that these guys are making. So he's not losing. He would be losing if he's making like 50,000. If he's making 50,000, I'll be like, man, this guy needs to change his promoter. Excuse me, I can't believe this guy's making 50 grand a fight. But he's realistically, he's winning. That's the point of this video. You guys are concerning yourself way too much with how much Deontay Wilder makes, with how much money this guy has in his pocket, acting like he's a loser. This guy is wealthy. He's wealthy. Have you seen his house? He's wealthy because he's making millions per fight. We have to stop getting so involved with these boxers and their purses. Who gives a fuck? You're not going to receive no money from them. You're not going to receive nothing. They're not giving you anything. Now, if they're paying you, all right, more power to you. I would understand why you're kissing their ass and you're talking about how much money you're getting paid. And that's cool. I could understand that. All right, the fighter's paying you peace. You're getting money from him. For example, Eddie Hearn. If Eddie Hearn's going around, if I see Eddie Hearn talking about Anthony Joshua's money, oh, Anthony Joshua's very wealthy. Anthony Joshua this, Anthony Joshua that. He's making $30 million a fight. I'm not going to criticize Eddie Hearn because I know that Eddie Hearn's getting paid from Anthony Joshua. I understand why he's doing this. He receives a cut from Anthony Joshua's paycheck. When Anthony Joshua makes $32 million, Eddie Hearn receives a cut. So that's why I understand why he's kissing and praising Anthony Joshua's ass. Because he receives a cut. But when it comes to these YouTubers, they don't receive no cut from Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua don't give you shit. They don't give them nothing. Yet they're kissing their ass. Oh, Joshua making this type of money. He making $40 million a fight, bro. He making all types of money. He making all types of gains, bro. They're not paying you, man. Like I said, I would only respect someone doing that if they're fucking paying you. Because it's like, all right, you're just grinding, you're hustling, you're getting money from him, fine. Okay? But, bro, we got to stop as boxing channels and as subscribers. Stop giving a fuck about a guy's money. Stop being in a guy's pocket. And that's all I have to say, guys. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel. I'm out.